welcome to KROSS BARZ, the podcast where we discuss interesting topics with an alternative perspective. I am your co-host, Big O. Have with me today.
Hey, Tanae is back in the building one more time with our special guest, Mr. Michael Ralph, the actor, the comedian. You can find him all over the TV, the screen. You can hear his voice. Give it up, give it up, give it up for Michael Ralph. Y'all give it up.
Ooh, I like that.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like, man, listen, I'm just gonna say it right now. It seems like you have the best side dude career of all time. I didn't realize, sir, you've been in the business for like 40 years.
Close to it, yes.
Yeah, close to 40 years. I'm sitting here like, I just saw a couple of episodes and, listen, I showed off a little bit. I said, him right there. You're like, oh, the guy, yeah, the boyfriend, yeah, I'm about to interview.
Feel good, it feel good.
Yeah, I know celebrities. I shined on them. Because we watch Different World every day, like literally every
Love
day.
a Different World,
So
right?
Let's get to part of that. First and foremost, where are you from originally, sir?
I'm originally from New York.
New York?
Actually,
okay.
I was born in Connecticut. I moved to New York when I was 1 year old. Well, with the family, 1 year old.
Mm-hmm.
Then I moved to Jamaica from not Jamaica, Queens, Jamaica, West Indies. My mother is Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
My father is Jamaican. See?
Jamaican.
So
Jamaican.
Jamaican. Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
So I lived in Jamaica from 6 to 12, my formative years, and then moved back to New York.
Okay.
So I was there,
it.
graduated high school, and went to school in Virginia, went to HBCU, Hampton. And
okay, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
All right, give it up for the HBCUs.
Okay, all right, I got you.
Absolutely. So, and that's where it all started happening.
Okay, so we're gonna read between some of those lines. Okay, so you were originally in Connecticut. What part of Connecticut was that?
Waterbury.
Waterbury. That's money over there. Middleton.
No,
over there.
No, it ain't money.
What, you gotta go
it's
up.
not money. It's New Haven. It's gun waving New Haven.
Gun waving
New Haven.
Okay, that's new. Okay, that's new. Yeah, I know people up there. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you moved to New York. What part of New York you moved to?
Hempstead, Long Island.
Hempstead, Long Island. Okay, that's kind of like awkward. And then the reason why I say awkward is because you got 6 years old and basically your parents was like, yo, you ain't going to school here. We're gonna send you to back there.
Well, no, the situation was that my father's career and everything was in New York. He was an educator and a pianist. So a lot of his, he was clocking his dollars in New York. My mother's thing was fashion design, right? Mm-hmm. So she to make clothes for the government, for the Parliament of Jamaica. So she was pretty much in. So her thing was making money in Jamaica. So we had a house in New York and we had a house in Jamaica. So we were going back and forth, but my education from 6 to 12 was based in Jamaica.
Okay. So and when you came back from Jamaica coming into the United States, do you feel that you were ahead, behind, or right on time as far as
I feel like I was ahead as far as education because I skipped a grade when I was in Jamaica, right? Okay. So I felt like I was ahead in education, but socially, the whole social dynamic was really tough because I got kids are rough, man. Cool. That has never changed, right? So the kind of names that I was called, coconut board, banana board, and it was rough trying to assimilate into the society of my peers. It was really rough.
Man, I actually you being in Long Island and because of the time period, I could surmise that you would almost be a cool one, but you are younger. So you would have been like the 12, 13-year-old in high school, because you skipped the grade.
Exactly.
I got you. So I can see
that. I was a 12, 13-year-old, and I was a 13-year-old in 9th grade. I was a 14-year-old in 10th grade.
Yeah.
And that was tough. It was
now,
tough.
are you the youngest of your group? Are you the youngest of your siblings, or all of you? Or are you?
Siblings, I am the youngest.
Okay.
I am the youngest.
Wait
My sister
is. Let's rewind that, because that's something there. If you the youngest, how you having a hard time? Because I know if you got older brothers and sisters, they regulate. And you from Jamaica, and they come over.
Well, here's the thing. My sister was 8 years older than I am.
Too old.
Yeah.
I got you.
So, and my other brother, who was, because my sister and my brother, they were legendary in my neighborhood because they didn't go to Jamaica. They stayed here. Right? I mean, they stayed in New York. So they were, especially my brother. My brother was, captain of the football team, captain of the wrestling team. He was a big cat. He was 6'3", 230 pounds, just a rock, right? So everybody used to say, yo, you Stanley Rouse's younger brother? And I was like, okay, don't mess with him. And then my other brother, who was 2 years older than me and him, we grew up together in Jamaica and in New York. So he started, playing football, lifting weights and all of that. Me, I was an actor. I knew I wanted to perform. I knew I wanted to sing, dance, and act.
Okay.
So
can I say this? Because usually when we talk to people, you do interviews, everybody has a story. We didn't have this, and we came up this way. But it sounds like to me like your mother and father were established, so their foundation was pretty good. So were their parents established too? Because it just seems like it just keeps building.
Well, my mother and father were doing things back in the 60s and 70s. I was born in the 60s, right? So they were doing things in the 60s and Black people weren't supposed to be doing. They weren't afraid to change the dynamic, to be called, back then you weren't cool if you had an education or if you were smart or, but my mother and father didn't care about that. They had their nose the grindstone and they moved forward and they said, this is what we got to do for our family to make sure our family is secure, to make sure our family is progressing in the right direction. And my grandparents were pretty much like that as well. My grandfather was, my grandfather and grandmother, they were amazing.
That's awesome.
So that's it was the trickle down effect. The grandparents I'm talking about were American. They came from Sunbury, North Carolina, and they moved Sunbury, North Carolina, and they moved to Connecticut to give their children a better life. And they didn't succeed.
Okay.
Hey, man,
Sunbury, where's that near in North Carolina? Is that near Raleigh, Fayetteville, Wilmington, Charlotte?
It's south. It's real south. It's damn near South Carolina. So but it's like it's one of them small cities, man, that had one stoplight. Okay, there's a bunch down here. That's why I was like, I'm serious.
Yeah, okay.
Like I'm one stop sign. Now, I only went there once, and they had one stop sign, one stop light.
Like, yeah.
And it was like how the signs you see, entering Sunbury. It was like the same sign, entering Sunbury and leaving
Sunbury. Sunbury, North Carolina.
Same damn sign.
Okay. So, and now you have a brother 2 years older into sports, and now you're into art. Was it that you wanted just to be different and rebellious, or you saw something in one of your other siblings that you was like, you know what, that cultivated and was a calling for you?
Kind of twofold. My mother was the creative side, really. She was the designer. So when I lived in Jamaica, I always, she put me on stage. She put me on stage I was one of her models, right? So at 6 years old, she put me on stage. This is how I caught the bug. I got up on stage.
Okay.
And I came out. It was Jamaican Independence. Jamaican's independence is August 4th. And Jamaica, if you guys have ever been to Jamaica?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Several times.
All right. So if you go to Jamaica, you go to Kingston. I grew up in Kingston, right?
Okay.
So you go to Jamaica on Independence Day, the whole nation is celebrating.
Correct.
Right? It's not like 4th of July. Some of us celebrate it, some of us don't, for good reason, right?
Correct.
The whole of Jamaica celebrates independence. The whole of Jamaica, right? So my mother was kind of big time. She was a big deal. So she had a fashion show at the arena in Jamaica, the National Arena. And in this National Arena, there are like thousands of Jamaican people, right? And them they're having fun. So we get this long runway. And I come out and I see all these Jamaican people. I'm like, I'm 6.5, 7 years old. I come out and I see all these Jamaican people and I froze. And they're looking at me and I'm looking at them. And then my sister comes on stage and grabs my hand and walks me down the runway. And when I heard everybody clapping and woo,
you got the bug.
When I heard that, I caught the bug. That was it. It was so bad. I caught the bug so bad that when I went backstage, got dressed for my next appearance, my sister had to come on stage to get me off of stage. Because I wouldn't leave. I was like, this is it. Yes. I was like, this is it.
This is it.
And that was it. And then when I went to school, a lot of people, because I had a big old afro, a lot of people were comparing me to Michael Jackson. So I was like, oh shit, this is fantastic. This can't get better. So dancing was my thing. Every time there was a talent show, I would get up, I would put on the Michael Jackson song, and I would dance to that. And then that thing happened, and then it was in me, and now I can't shake it. So that's how I started doing my thing.
Okay.
I wasn't the athlete.
Yeah, I got you. And now you're 12, back into United States, and because of the time era, oh my God, you are at the precipice of hip hop and some legendary groups from where you're. So now tell me, how did you interact with those and how did you navigate? Because you had to be in a rap group or you had to be a rapper. There's no possible way.
No, what happened was when I came back, my father was like, okay, there's something to this kid. Because I was always telling jokes. I was always, with the personality. Like, all right, what we gonna do with him? So I ended up in an act. I ended up going to the city, and he was like, all right, this is what we're gonna do. Because my father now, he was a pianist, right?
Right.
So moving forward, while I was in acting class, he would have these songs like Annie, the sun will come out tomorrow.
Sure,
right?
sure.
I would sing Tomorrow, and my father would be on the piano for all these women's luncheons. So it was starting to happen because the women were loving the little young boy singing Tomorrow. They were loving
So theater. He got the theater bug. Okay.
Got the theater bug.
No rap group, rap group, Big O. No rap group, Big O. He liked hip hop, I'm sure, but no rap group.
No, I loved hip hop. I loved to dance. I loved dancing. That was the thing. I wasn't much of a break dancer, but I loved it. The cardboard on the street and the whole nine, and the Dells and the Adidas and the Bucky Kango hats. I loved all that. But my thing was getting up on stage.
So the stage and doing that and being, being seen and showing your talent. Okay, I got you. Yeah. All right. So tell me, what interests you to attend the HBCU? Like, why didn't you say, all right, I'm going to Fordham, or I'm gonna go to NYU versus going?
I had pretty good SAT scores. So a school named Virginia Wesleyan in Norfolk, Virginia, was giving me some money. So they gave me some scholarship money. So that was the option that I had, because not any other school weren't giving me a whole lot of money, right? But Virginia Wesleyan, like, here you go, you can come on to us. And then I figured out why it was, because that was a white school and they were trying to fill a quota. So while I was there, my roommate was like, hey, man, I got this girl over at Hampton. And I was like, Hampton? I was like, where's that? She was like, you don't know about Hampton? I didn't know nothing. I ain't know nothing about Hampton. So he was like, come on, man, let's go over there. And the minute I got on the yard and I saw all these beautiful Black women and I saw all these brothers walking around in their suits, and they were just, it was powerful to me to see our people in that, because mind you, I came from Jamaica, right? The government was Black. Everybody in Jamaica, they were doing powerful things. There was, I grew up during the era of Bob Marley. It was like, Black was in. So I was at Virginia Wesleyan, like, what the fuck? What?
Like, this ain't it.
What is this?
Can I transfer, please?
I got to Hampton, and I was like, okay, this is where I want to be. As soon as I got back to my dorm room in Virginia Wesleyan, I called my father. I said, I want to transfer. And the first thing he said to me, this is another way that one of the ways that I realized that I was adult and I can make my own decisions, right? Yeah. My father said, well, why are you calling me? And I was like, oh, wow, this is my decision. He was like, yeah. I said, well, what do I do? Go to the administration office of Hampton, ask for an application, make sure you get all your transcripts over to Hampton and see if you get accepted. And the next day, I did everything he told me to do. Within a couple of weeks, I was accepted for the next season and for the next semester at Hampton.
So you spent one semester at Wesleyan and said, I'm going to Hampton.
No, I finished the year because second semester. It was the second semester that my boy was like, come on, man, let's go. Because they had some kind of block party or something, and it was bonkers.
I love it. I love it.
I had a similar situation going to Wesleyan. My situation, my whole college experience, like from high school, was kind of awkward like that. It was like, I didn't think I was going to get into too many schools because my PSAT, then I did well, and then all of a sudden I got into too many schools. But it's kind of awesome that, because I had, as a matter of fact, it wasn't even called Hampton University when you went. It was called Hampton Institute.
No, actually, the first year I went, bro, it was Hampton.
Yeah. Wow. So Hampton Institute. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm sitting there.
I graduated. Yeah. It was Hampton
University.
Correct.
Bars.
So some people from my little town of Plainfield, New Jersey, that was there. Jersey was deep at Hampton, and then you had the rivalry.
Leanne, are we the same age? We ain't the same age though. You're younger than I. You're
way younger. Yeah. I'm glad you can see that. He started looking at his account like,
he seen the gray in the beard, bro. He
started looking at me like, you look like that motherfucker.
He said, nah. I'm way younger than you.
You're looking good, brother. You're looking good. Absolutely.
He is.
Yeah. So and that's
I know.
Yeah, and that's awesome.
I know quite a few people in Plainfield.
Yeah, and
I used to DJ. I used to DJ at Plainfield, man. Up in Leanne Wallace, Lynn Wallace, and they used to have parties, and I used to go up there and DJ, bro. Yeah.
All right, see.
Told you. I lived in Plainfield for about 7 years.
He said
bars. Yes.
So now, you this Hampton University alumnus, and so now, how did you catch the eye? Because wait a minute, besides myself, excuse me, sir, what did you major in?
At Hampton, I started as a mass communications major.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But
absolutely,
I wasn't one for journalism. I really wasn't one for reading a whole lot. If you give me a script, I'll read it in a minute. Gotcha. If you give me a big old book like this, I'm like, oh boy.
Can I get the audio version?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, can I?
Yeah.
Is that audible?
Give me the clip notes. Give me highlights.
It was, give me the footnotes. Give me the footnotes. So it started to become just a lot of work, and I wasn't enjoying it. I'm not afraid of hard work if I'm enjoying myself and I really feel like I'm getting something out of it. Hard work doesn't scare me. I learned that from my father. So don't be afraid of hard work. Hard work and smart work will get you to where you need to be. I mean, without a doubt. There is no, there's no shortcuts. You gotta put in the work if you want the success, right? So I said, you know what? Well, what do I like to do? It's like I like to act. So Hampton's not necessarily the theater arts school, but they did have a speech communications theater arts program. So I joined that, and that was it. I spent my time doing that.
Okay. And so now it's kind of like the rival school, that's what they're known for of Hampton, you know, as far as communication and acting. Some of the people that you work with, you know, you had a lot of people coming from Howard, let's say the name that we shall not name, coming from Howard University versus, you know, Hampton. Yeah. And did you have like a rivalry on set when you know, first get there? Because I know that, you know, Different World had quite a few people from Howard University, even though it seemed like Hillman was based on Hampton.
Hillman was definitely based on Hampton. Yeah, I never had competition, you know, because it was interesting. Interestingly enough, the first acting school that I really went to was called the Moss Repertory Theater on Broadway, 86th and Broadway in New York City, in Manhattan. Okay. Right. So every Saturday, my father would put me on a train and be like, he'd give me a map. He'd give me, you know, like $5. Right. He'd say, look, you get on here, you get off here, you walk here. And then, you know, when you're done, you get off here, you go back to the train station, you get on this train, you get a map and the whole nine. We didn't have, you know,
right.
That garbage. Didn't have that. So you had to use your brain to be able to get around. He was like, don't talk to nobody, don't make no eye contact. You know, because I was 12 years old doing this, right?
Wow. So, yeah.
Went to school after about a year. Who came in and joined Amos but Kadeem Hardison?
Okay.
Wow.
So I've known Kadeem pretty much all my life.
Yeah.
So Wayne.
He didn't really have Wayne. So I didn't really have any beef. And when I got there, also Ron, the guy who played Ron Johnson, Darryl Bell. He opened his heart and opened his wallet and was like, bro, we can roll anytime. So even more, I hung out with Darryl Bell more than I did Kadeem. We all hung out together, but for the most part, Darryl was like, he made sure that I was. And so everybody, it was such a wonderful experience, a different world. It was incredible.
Yeah. So how did you get cast for it? Like, you know, so did somebody see you at a different place? You auditioned for different roles. Like, how did you get that role?
Okay. Funny story. Kadeem and I, fantastic question, because there's a story behind that. Kadeem and I had forgotten about each other. We had totally, I'd forgot that I went to school with him. I went to acting school with him, right? So Robbie Reed and I, you guys know who Robbie Reed is, right? Robbie Reed is a casting director, and I went to Hampton with Robbie Reed. Robbie Reed is a casting director who casts everything she started her career casting for Spike Lee. Okay. All right. Robbie Reed became, you guys Google Robbie Reed when you're
I'm already looking at it now. Yeah.
All right. So Robbie Reed is amazing. And she's solid in the industry. So by the time I got to LA from New York, she was already casting A Different World, right? So she said, hey, come on, let's go to this party. And I went to the party and I saw Kadeem. We didn't even really know each other. We met, it was like, hey man, like your work, blah, 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 whatever. And then I'm out. I didn't see him until later on that year, New Year's Eve. I'm in LA hanging out and we walking down the street and who walked by me but Kadeem. I was like, yo, what's up? What's up?
Right.
Oh man, let's change numbers. I want to come on your show. I'd love to come see your show. And he gave me a number. He said, hey man, call this number. They'll get you on set. They'll make sure that you're taken care of, blah, 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 blah. I called the AD. He was like, hey, you're Michael Ralph. I said, yes, blah, 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 blah. Oh, I mean, I'm in the front row now of the show. Now, the first season of a different. Kadeem sees me. He's on set, and he sees me sitting in the front row. And he rolled over to me like, yo, my man, you made it, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yo, I would love to do some extra work on your show. He said, that's the guy right there. Talk to him, and he'll take care of you. Within 2 weeks, I was doing extra work on a different world.
You answered 2 questions for me. Good. Okay. Yeah, I see you.
Time goes by.
Got you.
Right? Time goes by, and one of the guys who does stand-in work, his name was Daryl Tribble, God rest his soul, passed away from AIDS. Right? He passed away from AIDS, so that left, unfortunately, but fortunately, that left a hole in the stand-in circle. You know what the stand-ins, you know what stand-ins do?
Yeah, yes. Like when they go break.
For everybody who doesn't know, right, for like the major actors, if they got an interview or something, you would come in and you would do that for rehearsals. You would go through the blocking and the set for rehearsals, so that the producers, directors know that everything is working, so everything can move forward. Absolutely, that's the word I was looking for. Thank you. Yeah. Move forward, right? So it moved forward, and I'm now he passed away, and I started doing stand-in work, and Debbie Allen starts noticing that I got a little something going on, that I'm a little more talented, just an extra or a stand-in. So she was like, okay, well, let's give him this line. Let's give him that line. Let's let him do this. Let's let him do that. And the ball just started rolling. And before you know it, I was several different characters.
You were
on the
show. And I
show.
wanted to ask that question because you went from a cat that was at the excuse me, a person that was in the background where, you know, Mr. Gaines, and I was like, yo, that was
who is that guy?
You came back as a exchange student, not exchange student, but now you became, and then you became Kim's boyfriend. And I was like, yo, he been in school for too long.
And that role was perfect. That role was perfect, though. He said he been in school too long.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. He was in there with Lisa Bonet standing in the background.
But it makes sense, though. Even, you know, being the boyfriend and the Jamaican, like all of that, it's like perfect.
Yeah.
It went right together like it was supposed to be.
I was really blessed because, you know, a lot of people tell me that, you know, every character that I sold it. I really sold that character. And then people, like, they didn't, while they were watching the show from year after year, it was on for 6 seasons, and I was every other character for like 5 seasons. So I kind of was able to grow these characters, get better, and people didn't even realize that it was me until they go back and they watch the runs. Correct. Now they're like, oh my gosh, bro, you were everywhere.
So it's in saying all that, like, which of all of the characters that you played, like, which character was the closest to who you are as a person versus it was more difficult for you to do this? Is there a character that you related more with versus the other?
Spencer Boyer. He's my Jamaican guy. He was. I did that. I did Spencer Boyer right after I did a movie called Marked for Death.
Okay.
I did a movie
Steven Seagal,
And they weaved in the dreads, and Debbie Allen went and saw that movie, and she was like, oh my God, baby, you killed that. Yeah. And I said, okay, thank you very much. And then this character came up, and I didn't have to audition. You know, Spencer came up. I didn't have to audition or nothing. He was a Jamaican. So I was like, I can do this. Yeah, I can do this. So she had me, because I had cut out funny enough, I cut out my dreads after, because they weaved my dreads in, right? So after Marked for Death, I cut them out, right? And made a wig, because I could go audition for it when I put on my little Jamaican wig and go audition. And she was like, do you have something? You got dreads, you got blah, blah. I was like, yeah. She said, bring them shits tomorrow. I brought him. She was like, that's it, baby.
I can hear it.
Yeah,
That's some good people.
and that's super awesome. So now, like, I'm, total fan, and so now I'm looking at you because it was another character that in a series, I think it was the best series ever, is The Wire, and the dude that played Chris Parlow. People didn't realize he was a cop in earlier scenes, and then became the killer for Marlowe. And I said,
Yeah.
my man Michael Rao was the first one to do it. People was looking at me like I was crazy. I told my friends on the radio station back in Rutgers. Real talk. I said, yo, he did that before. They was like, what? I said, different world. He was in the background with Lisa Monet. And then the end season, he was dating Kimberly Reese. And it was like, what? I said, I promise you, yo, you go look. I'm telling you. And then
but they did it well, though, for them to be able to do that and you not be recognized like so significantly. The way they weaved it in, that's an art, that's a skill, because I didn't know until I went back and looked at it that you were different people in the same
That was
show.
Debbie Allen. That was Debbie
Allen. So dope. Shout out to Debbie Allen. She's amazing.
Debbie is a genius. People don't really understand how smart this lady is, because it wasn't like they just rushed me in and put me in every show. They sprinkled me in every now and then until they had a character that I could actually do. Because when I was a band member, I did a few episodes, right? And then as then the next season goes by, then I'm now all of a sudden I'm, Kimberly Reese, we getting married. I was the med student. So she was genius.
Yeah.
That's
so
amazing.
so so looking at that, it was awesome. So, but tell me, how do you feel where your career is budding and you have an older sibling that's, a megastar per se, because she's in sitcoms on a daily basis with some of the Black elites, and now you're little brother, but you don't want to kind of be known as a little brother. That's why I'm like, you can mention it, but I won't.
Yeah, I mean, there's no competition between my sister and I,
because I love it.
Well, her career, she's if she might have been a guy, right? It could have been a little different. But what she's auditioning for and what I'm auditioning for are two entirely different things. She has different tools that she can work with. And she's been a star for people don't really realize. It's been 4 decades, going on 5 decades.
Okay.
And now she's finally getting, like people say, her flowers.
Absolutely.
She's finally getting that kind of recognition. Everybody, she was like the face like, hey, I know her, but they didn't know her name. Now I'd be damned if you don't hear her.
Say that right. Hey, give it up to Cheryl.
She on stage,
give it up.
celebrating her Blackness, and she said some things where I was like, like I'm gonna say, like me, I love chocolate women. You know what I mean? Which I like light skinned women. It's all good, but I'm preferring chocolate bag. You know what I mean? And I'm telling you right now, her and forget the other lady's name. She played in what's called Love and Basketball as the mother. They got the most memorable dimples in the world. Sure, your sister and the other lady. I'm just like, them dimples. I was like, whoa, you got a chocolate girl with dimples? It's different. But they hit different. You know what I mean? So I'm like, yeah, right. Because when you say,
are you a comedian, O?
No, I wish I could be.
He is. Always a comedian.
I wish I could be. You know why I say it? Because
why don't you got something, bro? Why don't you go to an open mic?
He does it on this show. Look, Mr. Ralph, listen, he does it on this show so effortlessly. Sometimes I'm cracking up because it's like little things that I notice that he might do a little movement or something, and I'm cracking up laughing at myself when he's talking. He's a funny guy. He says he can't do like a stand-up. He just like living room funny.
Yeah, like I say, I'm living room funny. Like stand-up, that's talent. I looked at, I study, some of the great comedians, even yourself. We were going to get to that. you know, and I'm looking, it's an art. And I'm like, I
It's
would
hard.
never try to, disrespect the art because I'm like, oh no, I can't do that. Now we have a conversation. I'm conversation funny, but getting up in front of a crowd, capturing their attention and deliver like that, I'm like,
My days on the stage as a comedian, I learned that it is a skill to tell a story.
Oh, I can tell stories all day.
Yeah.
That's how you win. You see, and that's the thing. Some people try to get out of, you know, their comfort zone. Yes, you find success when you're out of your comfort zone. You become comfortable with the uncomfortable, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
I totally get that. But if you know what your pocket is, if you know what your lane is, the beautiful thing about staying in your lane, if you staying in your lane, ain't nobody in front of you because it's my lane. This is your lane.
Bars.
Ain't nobody in front of you. You can go as fast or as nobody behind you. You can go as slow as you want. Nobody in front of you. You can go as fast as you want. It's your lane.
You're getting inspired. Oh no, he over there moving around.
I'm about to
see. So okay, it's like I saw like it's kind of like this, right? It's kind of I saw a post the other day that said, you know, President Obama retired at 55, but Agent Orange, you know, started at 70. Agent Orange is Donald Trump, right? Started at 70. So it's like he retired. Obama retired at 55. He had done his shit.
Yes.
But this other guy come in at 70. It doesn't matter when your time is. It's your time. You just gotta go for it.
It's a Kairos moment,
I'm telling you, go ahead and do an open mic. Write down 3 minutes of a story. It's good for everybody. Everybody in the entertainment business, everybody in the entertainment business should have at least 3 to 4 minutes of stories that they can either tell about themselves, about their family, about somebody close to them. 4 minutes of being entertaining, and you win.
Wow. Hey, I'm gonna be there for that one. You let me know when that comes. I'm driving to Charlotte. I'm driving to Charlotte.
I'm sitting there. I hear Rocky music and shit. I'm about to start jumping up, shadow boxing.
It's funny. It's funny you say Rocky. It's funny you say Rocky because I watched this documentary, Sylvester Stallone. I didn't realize that he wrote all of the Rambos and all of the Rockies and starred in them. And he was talking about that. You know, when you do that, it's hard to, top yourself for the next one and top yourself for the next one. So there's a time that you have to like step away, go back, regroup, not listen to the naysayers and go back and do it again, mess up. And he said people were always used to me, being the tough guy. And he had broke his body up and all those things. So then he tried to be funny.
Right.
And then that really didn't work too well. You know what I mean? On that. And he had to go back.
Shorty. I like that.
He said he had to go back to who he was, though, because that he was more comfortable. That was his lane. That's what he was good at. So that's why he was able to write those movies and do that, because he used his personal experiences in every character when he put it in there. So
how did he use his personal experiences in 8 Plan?
Well, his relationship with his father, he went all the way back to the difficulties and how he was raised and versus mom and his brothers. And you got to watch it. It's really cool. It's a really cool documentary. I watched that. I just want to throw that in there real quick. But in saying all that, so all this time, Mr. Ralph, you're acting. And is there ever a time, because I looked through all of your years, and like you said, it's almost every single year. I seen like a 4-year gap from like 94 to 98. But then I looked in TV and you were doing something, so it wasn't the film, it was the TV. So has there ever been a time where you was kind of like, you didn't want to do it or you got tired of doing it or anything like that? And if so, how did you push yourself forward to continue? Because that's a lot of work.
Yeah,
that's such a good question, because there comes times in everybody's life, right, where you get to a point where it's like, man, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how I'm going to get it done. I don't know how my rent. I don't know how, blah, blah, blah. 1990, I had a son and he was not planned. And this was my first child. And this was before I was even starting to work, right? This was, I was just starting my career. I'd been in LA for maybe a year and a half, 2 years. And I was, I was living with my sister. I came out here with $500 in my, no, not even $500. I came out here with $100 in my pocket, $100 check, mind you. And and my sister was like, yeah, you check. Yeah, $100
no,
check.
no mobile deposit either. No mobile deposits.
No, they ain't even have an account yet, so they was taking that off the top. We got $80.
Right. Check cashing.
Right. Right. Check cashing. That's what I did.
Yeah, $80.
That's what I went to Nick's check cashing and cash that $100. That's exactly what I did. So I was trying to figure it out. So my sister was kind enough to say, hey, you can stay here, right? At her house. She got a big ass house, right? I was like, she all alone. It's like, you need some help? You need some, I can do I wash your cars.
I take out the trash.
I take out the trash. I'll help you out. So I was there I told her I was going to be there for a year, right? This is just give me a year. I was there for a year and I ended up booking Mark for Death. I started doing work for, A Different World, doing stand-in work, all of that stuff. So things started happening. But it was that time, about a year after that, I ended up getting this young lady pregnant and she decided to have a child. And the day that I booked my first job all on my own, it was Young and the Restless. I went to her. She was the first person I was like, I got something to tell you. And she said, I got something to tell you. And I said, okay. Can't nothing beat mine. I said, nothing beat this, right? And she said, I'm pregnant. And my heart dropped.
She won.
And I was literally in fetal position in her kitchen, like, what am I gonna do now? But that was like, to me, that was the biggest time that I ever thought about, well, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna stop acting, or am I gonna fight this one through and push through? And luckily enough, I decided, correctly, and I pushed through. And it happened. And then fast forward to 2008, that was like 1990. And then fast forward to 2008, that was around the time that, Bernie Mac had stopped. I was going through a divorce. There was a writer's strike happening. And I was sitting on my couch playing, this is when I used to smoke a lot of weed, y'all.
Jamaica.
Not no more. I was high as hell, sitting on my couch, playing Call of Duty, eating Haagen-Dazs vanilla Swiss almond out of the pint, wondering what I was gonna do in my life.
What's I gonna do?
That's a scene. That's a scene right there.
What's I gonna do, Lord? Help me, Jesus. Help me. And that was around the time that, again, I was thinking, I might quit. But I decided not to. So I kept on fighting and things worked out.
Okay, that's all right. I hope you wrote this stuff down because you got a book, you got a series going on with your life.
You can't give up, though. You can't give up.
That's
right?
crazy.
You just can't.
Nowadays, you gotta find really something to hold on to. It's your faith, support system, because it ain't hard to go left. You know what I mean? It ain't hard to be like, I can't do this. And you gotta find the things to hold on to.
Funny enough, I was sitting on the couch going through, I remember it so vividly. I remember being just stupid high and really just crying inside. And the phone rang, and it was a buddy of mine named Claude Brooks. And he offered me a job in Vancouver. And he just said, I was literally, when I tell you I was going through it, I was sleeping on my couch because my wife and I were going through, my ex-wife and I were going through just terrible times, right? We couldn't be in the same room together. So I was sleeping downstairs. This went on for 2 years. And she was upstairs with the children. We had 2 kids at the time, not including the one that I already had. So
Right.
We're going to talk about that a little bit.
Kids.
Wow.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I said we got to talk about that a little bit. The reason why I'm asking is because, you know, number one, you're a Jamaican man and you around some of the most beautiful women. What in the world possessed you to get married?
Hey, he needed some. He fell in love.
Hell no. I know guys from Jamaica. I'm from Jersey. Yo, they keep 3 in the possible. They got a spade hand. Yeah, knock it off. You
He
know,
said 3 in the
I
possible.
Yeah, they got a spade hand all day. I'm sitting there.
Look, I'm trying to bring black love in, and he talking about spade. 3 in the possible.
He on a different world. I seen all the women in there. I'm sitting there. You got Lisa Bonet. You got young Jada. You got all them little girls in there, fine as heck. And he was like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and settle down. And a budding actor. And he could turn on the Jamaican accent whenever he wants.
I can't.
I wish I could turn on.
I was doing pretty good. But I thought at that time, and this honestly, I thought at that time that that's what I needed.
Oh,
okay.
You don't gotta sell you down.
I felt like I wanted to slow because I was fast, bro.
Yeah.
I tell you, I was doing some things that I shouldn't be doing, right?
Yeah,
but it got harder for me being married to this particular person. It got harder for me.
Yeah.
She wasn't happy, right? That's not my job to make her happy. Yeah. It's not anybody's job to make somebody else happy. You got to be happy. It's, you know, it's one person or another person come together and they make the unit, but we're still individuals.
Correct.
So I can't turn on a switch on her and make her happy. She just wasn't happy. And then I found out as we moved along that she just wasn't happy being with me. It wasn't that she wasn't happy. When I would hear her on the phone with her girlfriend, she was as happy as can be. But it was me was happy.
Gotcha.
Right? So I said, okay, all right, I gotta go. So I was going through this thing. It was tough. Life was hard. I said, you know, I picked up the phone. It was this guy named Claude Brooks. He said, yo, do you want to go to Vancouver? I said, yes. I didn't even care what it was for. He said, okay, I got this thing that I'm doing this television show. This is now, mind you, this is a writer's strike. So it wasn't a whole lot going on in LA, but there were contingencies, there were agreements, and there were tentative agreements where we could go to Canada and shoot things that wasn't, you know, under the umbrella of the writer's strike. Right. So we could work. Right. So I went. And it was a thing where I wasn't even supposed to be in the show, but I ended up in the show. It was a thing called Under One Roof with Flavor Flav. So I'm coaching Flavor Flav as his acting coach. I was his acting coach, right?
Yeah.
So I ended up doing that. I went to Canada and I was there for 2 months. So when I went there, I was just a brother going through a divorce. So I was like, woo, party. So I found myself, you know, having fun again.
Right.
I felt this spirit again. I felt like, you know what?
Yourself was coming back. Yeah.
The rude boy. I know. Yeah, the rude boy came out.
That I wasn't this, I wasn't that. And I started believing that shit. But then I went to Vancouver. And all of a sudden, there were these people around me saying, oh, my gosh, you are so cool. Oh, my gosh, you're beautiful. You're good looking. Oh, come on, let's hang out. And I was like, okay, well, yeah, this is what I want to believe in about myself because that's who I really believe I am. And then I met this young lady after 31 days in Vancouver. And literally, she changed my life. Because at that time of my life, I felt like I was circling the drain. You know, and I felt like she reached down and said, bruh, you don't look good down there. Come on up here. And fast forward to 14 years. That was 14 years ago. Fast forward to 14 years. She's the love of my life. She changed my life. She helped me become who I am right now. And we have 2 more kids. So
okay.
all
it's
together,
timing.
I have
5 kids.
children.
5 children.
5 children.
In Jamaica, right? No, in the States, they call that stupidity. In Jamaica, they call that stamina.
Stamina. That's what I'm talking about.
Ah, gosh. So that brings me to this. So you have children. During that time, I see where you switch from doing some of those roles, and you do have some voiceovers and things that you've done on Happy Feet and Frozen. Like, is that why you kind of did some things on Disney? Is that how you? Because your sister also said that too. I was watching an interview and she was talking about her book Diva, and she said like there was a list of things that that you should do or live for, and one thing said encourage the youth is what she said. Encourage the youth.
Yeah.
So that's something you should always do is give back and inspire them to move to that next level. So was it the kids or anything? Is that what moved you that way?
Yeah, after Bernie Mac show, after that happened, I was unemployed. I was unemployed. I couldn't buy a job because what is not sexy is great, right? Desperation is not sexy. So anybody who's listening, who's going into audition or an interview for any job, do not be desperate because they are trying to fit a position. So they need you as much as you need them. So don't go in there, oh man, I sure do need this job. Please hire me. No, don't go in there like that. You go in there like
I love that.
You're supposed to go in there hungry though, right?
Huh?
You're supposed to go in there hungry though, right? Like, yo, listen,
you're supposed to go in
for me.
You're supposed to go in there confident.
Okay.
Right? It's not hungry. Okay. Anybody, it's like an animal. It's like a dog. A dog can smell if you are afraid of them. Yeah. Right? So and they gonna eat you up. You don't want them to eat you up. You want to be a part of, something great, right? So if you're going in there and you're begging them for a job and they see you sweating and you're, trying to shake everybody's hand and smile and, do that little dick, that ain't gonna work. That's not sexy. I went into a lot of auditions and it wasn't working for me. So then I said, I was living at the time, 2010, I was living in a studio apartment. Thank God I still have residuals and everything, but I wasn't really working the way I used to work. I was living in a studio apartment in Koreatown. And I said, you know what, this just ain't working for me. And I got tired of my kids asking me to do something. My kids were at the time 12 and 7, right? And the older one he wasn't even in the house. He was in New York, and I was paying child support. There go that child support I was talking about. Ooh. I was doing that. It was miserable, right? But what I did was I said, okay, I had always done voiceovers. I used to do a McDonald's. I had a McDonald's campaign. I had a Southwest Airlines campaign. I don't know if y'all are young enough to remember, Want to Get Away, those commercials. I used to do those commercials for years. I did those commercials.
That's your voice? You want to get away?
Yeah, but they had 3 people. The first guy was the old white. Second one was me, and then the third one was a woman. So in a span of like 10 years, they changed those voices over time. Okay. So that was voiceovers had always been my thing because I learned it from my father. He taught me how to use my voice, from the piano lessons.
I would love to do that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You got a great voice.
Yeah. I think I have a little sound, with it to do like little things, but I don't know how do you get into that without a manager? You've never done it. How would you? This is for anybody, that want to get into voiceovers or things.
Anybody who wants to get into it, the first thing I would say is to Google voiceover classes. Correct. That's the first thing. Then get yourself a voiceover demo. Right? You got to be right. You got to be like anything, right? Mm-hmm. You got to have tutelage. You got to have lessons. You got to know how to do it. You got to know how to use your instrument because your voice is my voice is my instrument. This is where all the magic for me, this is where it happens. This is in my house. I built a studio. So this is where it all happens for me right now. This is how I make everything and have a that I just love. I live a life that I love. I love the life that I live, right? So this is how it get yourself a class. And then from there, once you get the class, then you can talk to your coach, and your coach can help you either get a demo together, and then you shop yourself around to some agencies. Really, that's the best advice that I give anybody who wants to get into voiceovers. What happened for me was that I got tired of telling my children, no, Dad, can we go snowboarding? No, Daddy broke. Dad, can we go to a movie? Yeah, we can go to a movie, but we can't buy no snacks. So, it was stuff like that I got tired of. And I said, well, you know what? Let me go hard, start doing this voiceover thing. So I always knew about a loop. It's something called a loop group, where you go in and you sweeten the movie, right? So I would go in and I would do ADR, additional digital recording, right?
Yeah,
I would
have
go
a
do
lot
ADR
of those in there. Yeah.
for my own movies, right? If I was on Mark for Death, they'd call me in and be like, hey, we need you to do this line. I would do it, and okay, cool. They would, but that was all a part of my contract. But I never knew that there was a group who did the whole movie, right? And they're getting day player rates.
Right.
And
Gotcha.
So
gotcha.
I said, let me look into that. So I started doing that, and the rest is really, it's history. I mean, I've been doing it for about 12, 13 years, well, maybe 14, 15 years now.
Yeah, my wife's best friend, she's since passed away, but Cecilia Holmes, we just call it Toy. She won an award for doing voiceovers. She was actually the voice of Nickelodeon and Nike for some years. And it was always, funny. So when my children would watch television, they'd be like, oh, they're going to Toy, that's her voice. Because they can listen and hear it, even though we were, some states away. That's why I know you probably knew of her, the girl with all the red hair and everything. But even in that, you talk about your voiceovers and some of the things that you've done. I want to ask a question because I've heard stories of one particular actor that you worked with, Steven Seagal. How was it working with him? Because I heard he was a real a-hole.
He was actually cool to me. I think it's only because because it's funny because I was working with him, right? So when you're in a cast, most of the times you're gonna get along with your co-stars.
Gotcha.
Most of the time. Not all the time. I've worked with some assholes. Trust me on that.
Yeah. Oh, no, we can talk about it. We can talk about it. You don't burn the political knickknacks? I got you.
Yeah, I don't want to burn no bridges. But Steven was cool with me. I never had a problem with Steve.
Okay. This is the one I really want to know, brother. Hey, listen. I do want to act because I just want to act for one particular reason. You doing them love scenes and them kiss scenes because, I hear you got to do them over and over again. Some ladies that I'm like, if I could
guy.
You got it.
Yeah,
you know what?
It's work, baby.
Listen, it's not as cool. It's not as cool. Hold on one second. I got this fan going on here. It's getting a little warm in this shit right here with this sweatshirt. Yeah, my Hillman sweatshirt. All right. So
tell me about that.
All right. It's not as sexy as you think it is. Because
y'all make it look sexy.
It's called acting.
I want to act like that too.
It's called acting.
Yeah,
when you're there and you got the director telling you what to do, you got, all these people around looking at you. It's not as, sensual and as exciting as it looks on TV because there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. Sometimes it's a closed set. Sometimes it's a closed set. You only have the director of photography. You have maybe the sound guy, and you have the director, right? Yeah. But sometimes you got a whole bunch of people. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, so it's not as
yeah.
it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, because I tell you right now, I wish it was talking about, you know, I'm gonna mess up all the scenes with Tanae. I'm gonna mess up every one of them. You know, like,
so you can do it again.
Yeah,
so
do it again.
Cut.
I don't know
she
what's
gonna punch
on.
you in the face.
Boy, I'll be in there kissing like a mom. Like, mess around with me. That's why I was like, man, you know, when sometimes, you know, you get in certain roles and you have, you have dialogue rapport with some people, but some people you look at them like, they really look like they got a little bit better rapport than most. And the reason why I asked that question, because it seems like there's two particular women that's been in the business for over 30 years, and it feels like they're the only two women that gets roles for being wives or girlfriends on television for Black people, and that's Tisha Arnold, which played Pam in Martin, and Gina. Tashina Arnold.
Tashina Arnold.
And Gina, what's her real name? In Martin.
Tisha Campbell.
Tisha Campbell. Yeah, Tisha Arnold and Tisha Campbell. And it's like they keep on getting these roles, and I'm like, wait a minute. You know, you got all these great actresses. It seems like they're keep on saying, oh, we got a new show. Oh, we're gonna put them in. Oh, we got a new show, we're gonna put them in. And they've been killing, but I'm like, is the rapport that you have to have it has to be a certain way, or some people are just better with let's say, because you did Young and the Restless, correct? So is it more like soap opera acting, or is it like the rapport, chemistry? Like, what is it? Because number one, I want to make sure to say they are very talented, but I'm seeing like
there are a number of things though. There's a number of things, but one of them is one of the main reasons is your support team, your team, the people who you have behind you, your agents, the writers. Sometimes, like, let's say CAA has a literary agent that is the showrunner for whatever show. We call it whatever. We call it KROSS BARZ, right? KROSS BARZ. You got a group, and everybody who is in that show is under that agency. So sometimes it comes along as a package deal.
Gotcha.
Right?
That makes sense.
So okay, I want Tashina for this role, or I want Tisha for this role. And it happens like that. Your team behind you is always looking out for you. So you get the
gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha.
There's a lot of politicking.
Okay. And another question, another question I want to ask you was, since you've been in the game for so long and you've been on some blockbuster movies as well as some phenomenal sitcoms, are you able just to retire off the residuals that you make, or this is what the people were striking about in the Writers and Actor Guild strike?
I am not in a position where I can retire as of yet, because you also have to remember that not until I started doing my voiceovers on a regular basis, this career has been peaks and valleys, right? The highs are highs, but the lows are lows. So let's say I do a movie one year, I do Marked for Death, and back then I would make something like $50,000 for the 4 weeks not the 4 weeks, for the 3 months that we shoot the movie, right? So I made my 50 grand, right? That's good money. And plus you're gonna make residuals on that 3 months later after it goes to DVD and all of that, right?
Right.
But out of that 3 months that I've already shot this movie, there are 9 more months out of that year that you got to pay rent, you got to pay your car note, kids got to eat, there's things that has to be paid. That $50,000, especially in LA, it's not going to last you through that year.
No,
it's just not going to happen. Now, when you're talking about somebody who's a series regular on a show like Friends, right? You're making $1 million an episode. If you make $22 million a year and you can't survive for the year, then something wrong with you. You're doing something wrong. So some people can do that, but not everybody. And you're right. That's what the strike was about. It was about our residuals. We've got to make more from our residuals to take care of the downtime. Everybody doesn't work the way Brad Pitt, the way, Sheryl Lee Ralph, everybody doesn't work like that. There's 160,000 members, and only like 1% can actually pay for health insurance.
Wow.
Right. And I was looking at this stuff they were talking about for the writers, and the writers had a strike, and then the actors had a strike, and they were talking about, and I learned about this, about mini rooms, which I didn't know. And mini rooms are where like a writing room, you got 10, 12 writers go in, they write a show and whatever. But now they were trying to do, like when the COVID happened, they wanted to kind of downsize it. So instead of having 12 to 15 writers, you might have 8 to 12 writers in the room. But you didn't give the green light that your movie or whatever you was writing was going to even come out. So you might go in a room and write a script and never get paid for it, or it never gets published, because it's like we're kind of using you, but we're not. So I learned that was part of the strike as far as from the writer side of it. And then they were concerned about even getting the scripts like AI now. Did you really write it? How are they going to configure AI into, you write it, or did you get this information from Chat GPT, or, things like that. And then the other thing was for the streaming, which you're saying getting your residuals, they weren't getting paid for the streaming, just like the musicians were saying. You got Netflix and all that, you're getting all these views and stuff for this, but how am I getting paid off of that? So I got a better understanding of the writers went on strike first, and then the actors went on strike after. So they ended at different times, but it was two different things that they're battling for, this one and this one, and this one and this one, and they finally came to a medium. So I did not realize that, like all these shows that have been pushed back now because of the strike, they've delayed it maybe a year now. Now they're going to come out for 6 months now, which is going to delay you or somebody trying to get in on it and act it and what you had promised and all of that. And you got to find a new gig. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's people don't understand that. People think that you just, I've had people tell me, hey man, how come you're not on, this show? You would be perfect on this show. I'm like, well, do you have a connect? You get me in there. Can you get me in the get me the job then? Think that I'd be perfect in. Because you got to think, there are millions of people who want to be actors. When I booked that role on a different, not even a different world, because I got blessed. I got lucky in a different world. But when I auditioned for Marked for Death, they were in London, they were in Jamaica, they were in New York, and they were auditioning in LA to find my character. So you imagine the amount of people that auditioned for that. Thousands of people auditioned for that in order for me to get that role.
So is that a casting call, or is that a cattle call? Like, what's the big difference between like a casting call and a cattle call?
Cattle call is anybody can come in. Cattle call, that's a cattle call. You heard them all in.
Gotcha. Okay.
You book the job. We're going to make sure all the logistics as far as you getting in the union and all of that, we'll take care of all of that. Well, we got you covered. Casting call is you actually going in like, you getting a call from your agent and saying, hey, such and such and such and such, Steven Seagal and them want to see you. So you go down. That's a casting call. Cattle call is you and everybody
whoever else
can come in. And that's what we had for Marked for Death. But I got the phone call and my agent was like, yo, there's this Jamaican role. And actually, a friend of mine named Jeffrey Anderson Gunther called me up first and was like, yo, there's this movie coming, the Steven Seagal movie, Marked for Death. Make sure you get in there. So then after I got that call, I called my agent, and my agent called casting, and casting called him back and said, yo, have him come down to this office, blah, 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 at such and such a time. It's
love it.
It's crazy, man. You gotta have, you really gotta be,
hustling.
here. You gotta be hustling. You gotta be strong.
Okay. And tell us more about now I've actually seen you do a lot of stand-up. I've never seen that before. So when I was researching, I was like, I don't recall. I was like, I've seen him in so many shows and seen appearances. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's the dude from a different world. Then I was like, nah, that's the dude that's just been working, because
That was
everybody has yeah.
that was out of necessity. That was out of desperation. That was I
Okay.
needed to eat. I needed to eat. I needed to figure it out. I wasn't working. I was living in my studio apartment.
Gotcha.
I'd come back from this was 2009, 2008, 2009. I'd come back from Vancouver. I was like, I'd made enough money to get my divorce, right? So I made a certain amount of money, and all that money right there was going to feeding my kids and getting a divorce, because I had to get up off that couch and I had to move my little apartment and all of that. So I was like, okay, well, what am I gonna do? And I said, I had my best friend out here in the business is Bruh-Man, Reggie Ballard.
Yeah, Reggie Ballard.
Yeah, he was on KROSS BARZ. What up, bro,
Fifth
man?
floor.
From the fifth
Was
floor.
he? Was
From
he?
the fifth,
Did he do
Yeah,
a
he was
show?
on KROSS BARZ.
KROSS
Yeah.
BARZ, yeah. He would do surgery and
He
everything.
was
Talk
super
about
dope.
surgery and everything. Absolutely.
That's my dude.
Yeah,
When I
he's
tell you
super dope.
my heart, he's godfather of one of my children.
Oh,
He is
Okay.
wow.
we
That is cool.
are tight, right? So he's my guy. So he was like, yo, man, you can do it. What?
Wow.
What?
No. So you say that, so that's why I'm skipping over. But Hackerish, I seen that you and him had
Yeah.
a golf tournament. So now it makes
Yeah.
sense. Like I was like, oh, why you got his brother man doing golf?
Yes.
Now it makes sense. Okay.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about Hackerish, because I do.
We both started playing golf on but I started playing golf before him, but when I got the role on the Bernie Mac show, this is when me and him got super tight.
Right.
So in 2001, he was already on the show.
Yeah.
But Kelly Perrine, whose character I took, Kelly Perrine got another show. He got that show with Flex Alexander. Is a one-on-one. I think it was one-on-one, him and Kyla Pratt.
Kyla Pratt,
so
yes.
Kelly Perrine went off and did that show, and then they had a casting call for this character Kelly on the show, and I booked the role. So me and Bruh-Man, whenever they would he said to me one day, he was like, I was talking to Bernie about golf, and Bernie was like, and Bruh-Man was like, you golf? I was like, yeah, man, you should come out there with me. He said, yeah, I just picked up the sport, man. It's dope. I love it, man. I was like, well, let's do it. So whenever we would go to work, and we would usually sometimes just be sitting around, for like hours, I'd be like, let's go talk to the AD, man, see how long they need us. And they were like, yeah, we don't need y'all for a couple of hours. I'd be like, yo, come on, man, let's go to the driving range. And we spent 6 seasons doing that. They would call us. They'd be like, yo, we're going to be ready for y'all in half an hour. Be like, okay, man, go ahead, man. Let's finish this one hole. And we would do that. And that's how the golf thing between me and him. We would golf all the time. So then now I'm doing Hackerish Golf. Hackerish Golf is a YouTube and Instagram thing. And Hackerish Golf is one of those things that everybody thinks that it's just an elitist sport. And I want everybody to know that golf is for everybody. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm a hack, but I'm not the greatest golfer in the world. I'm a hack, but I'm hacker-ish. So I'm a hack, but sometimes I'm the ish. So I did
sometimes I'm the ish.
Okay.
Okay.
So I do a golf tournament in my mother's memory, because my mother actually literally went to school barefoot in the hills in Jamaica. And she didn't have anything up there. She went to school barefoot, and they maybe had a chalkboard, maybe had pencils. They didn't have nothing. Fast forward to 80 years, they still ain't got shit there, right? So my mother was able to make some money. She always said, don't forget Chantilly. Chantilly Primary is the name of the school. So she said, don't forget Chantilly. And I said, well, how do I honor Chantilly? I said, throw a golf course. My brother started a 501c3. So all the money comes to Stackerish Golf, and then it goes straight to the 501c3. And we were able to give them this year, we were able to give them tablets. We were able to give them whiteboards.
I love
toilet
it.
to just for so the kids bathroom. We were able to get them $1,000 from one of the big it's called Best Dressed Chicken, one of the chicken places down in. They sponsored us, so they gave us $1,000 to give to the school. We were able to give them all the teachers what they need, you know, so that they can teach. Right? It was literally incredible. And bruh, man, I figured, you know, just be perfect to have him as my honorary grand marshal. So I flew him down, put him up in the hotel. He told a couple of jokes. We played golf, and that's how that all works out.
I love it. I love it. I love it. That's what's up.
Before we wrap up, this is a game we play, this or that. I've named two things, and you can pick one or the other, or you can say both, or even neither. Now, my object of the game is I want to say things that you can't pick or decide between, and you got to say both. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's your choice. All right. So for instance, give you one little easy one. All right. The Jets or the Giants. You know.
You already know by the way I lowered my head. You know I'm going with the Giants.
That's what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about.
I hate you right now.
Yeah. No. Listen. All I say is this is the Shador sweepstakes. That's what it is. The Shador sweepstakes. We get Shador next year. That's what we go.
What we need.
That's what we need.
Quarterback.
Yes, you do.
So you a Giants fan?
Mariah Stackhouse. Mariah Stackhouse. She's a female, do golf. Have her come and do.
Okay. All right. So now watch hear me this, right? We're gonna say LeBron or Jordan.
Jordan.
All right.
I'm old school. I'm old. I already told you.
I got you. All right. Okay. Look.
I'm all that. Because I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this right now. The way LeBron be crying sometimes because somebody who's smaller than him is tapping him. Come on, man. Come on. You see what they were doing to Jordan?
They wasn't doing that. Knock it off. They wasn't doing that. All right. Jerk or Curry?
Jerk, man. It's not that Indian. It's like Jamaican.
Oh, okay. Jerk. Jerk.
I be dying on jerk. My nose be running. My lips be. I can't do jerk. I be like.
Okay. 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 All right.
Jerk chicken.
Okay. All right. You want a roti or beef patty?
Oh.
Roti is Trini. Beef patty is Jamaican.
Oh,
so there you go. Okay.
All right.
I want a beef patty right now.
Okay. Look.
I do too.
Oh man, I would love a beef patty right now.
Look, he's Jamaican, right? Now watch what I hit him with. Red Stripe or Heineken?
Man.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah, go ahead.
I had my first red stripe in Jamaica. I did. The first red stripe I was in Jamaica.
I didn't hear his answer. Yeah. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah. I forgot Heineken.
Oh,
yeah.
Heineken's my.
But do you know?
You said me half a bowl.
I stopped drinking Heineken because Heineken. And I learned this from Don Cheadle. He saw me drinking a Heineken one day. He said, Mike, you're going to have to change your beer. I said, why? He said, Heineken has the most carcinogens out of any beer on the market.
Really?
Heineken's?
Nobody know that. Yep.
Okay.
Well, I went to Stella.
Wow.
I drink Stella instead of Heineken now. Stella Artois.
Yingling.
Okay.
Stella Artois.
Look. Give him something, a curveball. Throw a curveball in there. Okay. Sylvia's or Roscoe's?
Ooh, only because I'm in LA. I'm gonna go Roscoe's because I ain't never had chicken and waffles at Sylvia's.
Oh,
I have. It was
Nah, it was
all right.
Wheat cornbread. They used to give you the wheat cornbread. I got a picture with the late great Miss Sylvia. I had a picture.
Yeah,
Still
really?
Yeah.
I had a girlfriend from Queens, and her daddy took me and her mom. I went with her family to see Whoopi Goldberg's one-woman show.
Oh,
and
wow.
And the day that we went there, he took us to Harlem to Sylvia's. And I was blown away. But that was the one and only time I've been to Sylvia's.
Oh,
and then shortly after that, I moved to LA and I started going to Roscoe's. I'm talking about the original Roscoe's on Gower.
Okay, no, I ain't been to that one. I got you.
Y'all gonna think I'm crazy. I just don't think chicken and waffles go together.
So you are crazy, and we think you that. Okay.
Yes.
So
okay.
Thank
you.
All right. Yeah, you can stop talking now. Thank you, man.
But you know how chicken and waffles started. Y'all do know how chicken and waffles started.
No, sir.
Chicken and waffles started because that's what they used to do back in the day when the old school singers and everything. They used to go. I forget the place that they went, but it was down south, and they were hungry, but it was early in the morning. And they were just feeding them waffles. And they was like, yo, waffles ain't just enough, man. We gonna need some protein with this. So the lady in the back started fried up some chicken. So she gave him chicken and waffles. That's been going on for years. It started, I think,
on the Chitlin circuit. All right, y'all performance breakfast time already. Yeah, I got you. Okay. I got you. All right, Cinnamon Toast Crunch or Captain Crunch?
I don't eat that.
Okay, all right. Okay, all right. Watch this.
Can I say none of them?
Yeah, you say neither. Absolutely. So now I'm gonna get you with yours. Okay, saltfish or eggs and grits?
Saltfish.
Oh, okay. All right. Look. Let me hear.
And you have to say. Now, if you ask anybody else that, right, you have to say Aki and saltfish.
Aki and saltfish.
Eggs and grits.
Eggs and grits. Okay. I forgot the Aki. You're absolutely right.
Saltfish. Aki and saltfish all day for me.
Okay. All right. No. Let me try to get in trouble. Jamaican women or American women?
Canadian women.
That's right. That's right.
Good answer. Good husband.
Put the left hand in the air.
Good husband.
That's what I said. Try to give him trouble. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Good husband.
Right. Okay. Let me see where you really at now. American track or Jamaican track?
Ooh.
Jamaican track.
Oh, what? What?
Bobsled.
Bobsled.
I auditioned for that movie and I didn't get it. I was like, well, are you kidding?
Oh, Dougie Doug got it. Yeah. Doug got it.
Doug. I auditioned for both Dougie Doug's role and Malik's role.
Malik Yoba. Yeah.
Wow.
I was like, what?
But listen, you was on fire at that time. You was on fire. You know what I'm saying? So you was on fire at that time. Okay, all right. And let me try to throw you another curveball. Let's see what you do. All right, let's see what you do. EPMD or Leaders of the New School?
EPMD.
Okay. I did both Long Island. That's why I was doing it. Some people don't know they was all from Long Island. You know what I'm saying? And I know you probably know some of that.
EPMD all day.
Yeah. Got you. I just did what you.
Long Island.
Oh, no.
Long
Oh my God.
Oh, you got
one.
What?
I apologize. I'm about to disrespect. I apologize, brother. Lauryn Hill or Bob Marley? Okay. Yeah, I got you. I know.
Poor Lauren.
Huh? Somebody just posted. I'll say somebody posted that they went to her concert,
She
and
get
got
that?
got a baby though, got a babysitter, got everything, got to the hotel and got to the place, and it said concert canceled after they drove and everything. The concert was canceled.
Yo,
This was
she
just
still do
today.
Not here.
today?
Yes.
She was not here just like last week, and they said somebody told me that she came out on stage and she said to everybody that y'all are lucky I'm here.
I'm here.
I
Yeah.
heard that. I was like, yo, that's crazy. Yeah,
Shout
that's
out to
crazy.
Lauryn Hill. She'll get it together.
Hey, I met Bob Marley. I met Bob Marley. Let me tell you the greatest concert that I've ever been to. Greatest concert I've ever been to, and nobody has been able to beat this lineup yet. Bob Marley,
Pizza Tosh,
the I-Threes, and the Wailers opening up for Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5 in 1975.
Damn.
Opening up for them?
Hold on.
Opening up for Michael Jackson
wow.
and the Jackson 5.
I think they talk about that in documentary. I think it says something about that, about Bob Marley.
I think
there.
He has an interesting past, interesting life too. As far as like his father, who was white, and his mom, and how all that happened, and all that.
Yeah,
that was pretty dope.
I don't know. One is close. In Vogue opening up for Luther Vandross. That was tough in '86.
Luther Vandross? Hold on.
That's tough.
The Commodores.
My heart.
Vandross, the Emotions, and Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Okay, that's wrong.
That's easy.
Wow. No, not in the Nassau Coliseum at Madison Square Garden.
Okay.
Wow.
If we doing this, I'm gonna go back to my homecoming days because you ain't gonna beat them lineups. Because I can tell you, '97, where you had Outkast, Outkast, Busta Rhymes, Tribe Called Quest, Fugees, and what's the one? Slip and Slide record? What's the dude? 95 South. Whoop, there it is. One concert. I say, them lineups is different, like homecoming lineups. I'm like,
yes,
and
yeah.
So,
you're right.
So them lineups is different, like the Isley Brothers with Frankie Beverly and Mays and Anita Baker. I'm like, that's not fair. Like regular people's stuff. I'm like, you come to our stuff.
I was in Anita Baker's "No One in the World" video.
What?
No. No. Say bars.
Talk about it.
Wow.
Hold up. Did you have to hold her and stuff? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you get, shit, man. No. I'm messing around. I'm like, yo, look, man.
That's a beautiful song. That's a beautiful song. Oh,
absolutely.
man.
And give a shout out to Anita Baker. And I'm learning right now some of the best songstress, and this person doesn't get enough because we're talking about music just now. But Dionne Ward. Do you know that most of Luther's big hits are remakes of Dionne Ward?
No.
I didn't know that.
Yo,
I have to Google it.
But it messes me up if you start listening to all of the remakes of Dionne Ward's music. I was sitting there looking like, Dionne wrote that, and it was like, oh, she was up there with the best songwriters in the '60s and '70s. It was like her and Smokey, and I was like, wait, we all know what Smokey is, and they was like, nah, she was right there with him. I was like, nah, and then when I
had to Google it.
It's like
I'm not doubting you. I just
crazy.
I just saw Smokey Robinson at the golf course 3 weeks ago.
He's still out and about and golfing.
He's still out and about golfing and betting big money.
Wow. That ain't even fair. Like he got to come out with a series. I don't even think he can write a book. He got to write a series, a volume or something, because his stories is crazy. I listen to 2 interviews. I'm like, yo,
that's what's seven.
Yeah.
So
that brother he is so smart. People really don't understand how smart he is. If you listen to him speak, it will blow your mind.
Wow.
That's what I like about
how gangster he used to be. Yeah, he was gangster.
But he had to be, right? He had to be.
Yeah. But that's what I like about KROSS BARZ is getting to meet, people like you, just getting the nuggets in that we may not normally get on the everyday conversation because you guys have been to so many places and very experienced and world traveled. And that's what we want to, I mean, you guys inspire us as well as those who watch KROSS BARZ, which is why it's called KROSS BARZ. That's what it's about. Taking your experience. Hey, sometimes we might inspire you guys. You never know, but you're leading us to say, there's a common thread to humanity. And, we all just want to get a little bit of it before we leave this earth. Give me a little bit of something so we can give it back,
You guys are fantastic. The way you guys seamlessly put this together, because you've obviously done your research, and it's not just us talking about, frivolous nonsense. You're literally, you're talking good conversation. This is great conversation. To be able to, to be able to talk to somebody and not have to think or, pushed conversation is never good. This is effortless. And you guys are really, you guys are amazing. I love this. I really do.
Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You know what I mean?
We love that. We love that.
You know what I mean? Get no windy up in here. You know what I mean? It's windy in here. Hey, yo, listen, you done inspired me. I'm gonna go try to write me a 3-minute jammy. I'm gonna try, but at the same time,
start with 3 minutes. Go to your whatever. You're in New York, right? You're in New York.
I'm in North Carolina.
Oh, you're in North Carolina.
North Carolina, Charlotte.
And I'm in West Virginia, so I'm in Charleston, West Virginia. Yeah. Oh, there you go.
You in Charleston?
I'm in Charleston, West Virginia. Yeah.
Okay.
West Virginia.
Go to West Virginia.
Yeah.
How's that working out?
It's working. That's why I'm on here with you. I gotta get away.
Good. But get yourself your 3 minutes together and just go to an open mic, man. And it might not go great the first time, but don't give up.
I gotta be there. I gotta be there.
That's why I quit, because it takes a minute for you to find your voice. And I got booed in Atlanta. I got booed so bad. When you're in a club, and you feel the bass on your clothes and your clothes are going like that.
Yeah.
That's how it felt to me. They booed me. I was like,
the bass of the boo. That's a chapter in the book. The bass in the boo.
Bass in the booze. That's a good one.
Literally,
I got booed. I walked straight off the stage, out the door, and I walked 1.5 miles to my hotel room. I didn't stop hearing the boos until I closed the door behind me. Wow. And I'm serious.
Oh, sorry.
That's one of the reasons. But then I went back because I had 3 more shows to do. I had 3 more shows to do. So I went back the next night and got a standing ovation. You can't quit.
You took notes.
I did. I wrote better jokes. So you can't give up. You can't give up. That's one of the things that I love about golf. That it's up and down. It's up and down. Some days you can't be turbo every day. You just can't be. Some days gonna punch you in your face. Everybody got what Mike Tyson said. Everybody got a plan till they get punched in the face.
Right.
And then you gotta figure it out. And you gotta figure something else out.
Absolutely.
But the last thing you can't do, the one thing you know for sure, is if you quit, you ain't gonna make it.
No.
Period.
Not an option.
But if you don't give up and you keep going, anything's possible. That's the beautiful thing about
bars. Life. Bars. Keep going. So in saying all that, is there anything right now that you are looking to do? Any projects you got going on, or somebody you'd like to work with and you haven't before we, wrap up the show?
I've been thinking about getting back in front of the camera. But it's like time. I need the time now, and I just don't have the time because I'm doing a lot of voiceovers right now. That's really been my bread and butter. It's been interesting that I can do whatever I want. I can live wherever I want. I can buy any car that I want. I don't have Will Smith money. And let's make that clear, right? I don't have that kind. But I have a very good life right now, and I enjoy what I do, right? And like, yeah, if you'd have to Google me to see the stuff that I'm working on right now, right? But when I was on camera and I would walk through Hartfield, everybody'd be like, "Oh my God, oh, I love your work." But then I'd reach in my pocket and come out rabbit ears, right?
Gotcha.
It's like nothing in there. Come out, you know what I'm saying? So I
Yes,
have a very
sir.
comfortable life right now, but I try to get out of the, I feel too comfortable. I want to challenge myself more. So that's why I'm thinking about getting back on camera. So as far as people who I would like to work with, anybody who's talented and anybody who can, you know, who can challenge me. Because sometimes being too comfortable is, it's not
good.
There's no growth. There's no growth in that.
No.
Right.
Yeah, come on, let's do a reboot of A Different World with a new cast and you coming back as the professor, world travel, African American history professor. You know what I mean?
Sounds fantastic. Write it, and let's go.
Write it.
Sound like
Come
you
on,
got
write it.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah.
Fresh Prince got back on the air. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah. I like the new one. It's a little racy, but
right?
Yeah. Okay, absolutely.
Well, the guy wrote a short. He recorded it. He filmed it, and he put it on YouTube. He put it on social media. Will Smith got wind of it and said, "Let's produce it."
Really? That's how that became about?
That's how it happened.
Yeah.
That's
all right. Got to keep it going. You never know.
About social media and YouTube is that you can make your own. You don't have to wait now. You know, used to be a time you had to wait. You had to go out there and wait for the phone call, wait for the audition, but now people are being proactive. They're shooting their own things and they're becoming millionaires from this YouTube thing and Instagram and Facebook, and you don't have to wait.
All right. All right.
Okay. So it's been definitely a pleasure. You know, I like to call this an educational class because, you know, I've been learning,
for sure.
Learning a lot. You know, he's been dropping some jewels in there. I was like, I didn't know that. Whoa. Listen to that.
Facts.
Okay. You guys are fantastic.
And then
thank
also,
you so much.
You know, the journey that you've been on, you know, you're still smiling, you're looking young. And that's one thing
looking
that's
good.
awesome is that, it ain't for me to tell your age, but you look good. You know, it look like you're healthy. You're taking care of yourself. It's not like you're aging like milk, because you know what they say, like, you know, look, black
like
don't
milk.
Black don't crack. We
right.
crack on the inside.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, bars on that one.
You gotta take care of yourself.
We gotta watch it. I gotta
address that mental health.
Watch all that, but you know, I like the sugar.
Yeah.
Salt is not my problem. but sugar, milk chocolate.
Oh, that's the cookie.
He said the cookies. I'm telling y'all why. I'm telling you why. You got some cookies he stashed in the car. I'm telling
listen, Chick-fil-A cookies. I could sponsor them. Chick-fil-A ain't half dozen.
Hey, like it.
All right. What?
You went to
North
Rutgers?
Carolina A&T State University, home of the Aggies, baby, the greatest homecoming on earth.
I thought you mentioned Rutgers.
Oh yeah, no. I lived close.
I went to Rutgers for a little bit. He was you did the radio at Rutgers.
I did radio at Rutgers. Yeah, I was a host at Rutgers Radio 90.3. Absolutely.
I was a DJ at Hampton, WHOV, Hampton's Own Voice.
Oh yeah. Look, my man Ty, Cool Ty, put me on. He used to do the radio. The celebrities come on. He said, "Oh man, you wild, yo, come up there with me." I was like, "Yo, Ty, listen, I can't control my mouth. How you gonna control?" He said, "Look, you just be you, and yo, I'm telling you, have a good time." I got on there. I started cracking jokes on him. Then they was like, people was like, "Yo, people really like when you start talking." I was like, "What?" They said, "People, y'all do this like every day."
Yeah.
But the bug went home, said, "Yo, let me go over here." And my cousin, he was going to Rutgers. He was like, "Yo, why don't you come on the show with me?" I was in there cracking so hard. The person came in and was like, "Yo, do you want a show?" And I was like, "Wait, hold up. I'm here with him." He was like, "Yeah, he got a show. Do you want yours?" I was like, "Say less." Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need one. Yeah, and it was
Yeah.
yeah. I was in there. I bought, our producer. I said, Lean, come on, Lean. Lean got all shy in there. I was like, Lean, come on. It's like us talking at my crib in the basement. And I'm having
That's
Yes.
lovely.
conversation jokes, but when you have a
I say that
conversation.
because my sister went to Rutgers.
Oh,
So I thought
that's what's up.
yeah,
I
she
went
was
to
yeah.
that's
Rutgers
her.
just for a semester, and then I moved to Atlanta. I went just for a semester, and I moved to Atlanta. But I graduated from Marshall University, Thunder and Herd. Go Herd, not an HBCU, but that's my school. Home of Chad Pennington,
Yeah,
home of Randy Moss, home of Jason
no,
Williams,
oh,
White Chocolate. I was there during that
no.
time.
We
Yes.
good.
nice,
Yes, thank you.
We
nice.
good.
But
We
anyway,
Come
good.
on, man.
We
Let her
good.
have
yes,
her shine.
I gotta have
Oh,
my
stop
shine.
it.
He's a hater. I'm
Yeah.
Howard at heart, but
Oh,
all right. So everybody like, all right, so we're gonna get on out of here tonight. Get on out of here. I am Jay Tanae, half of KROSS BARZ co-host with Big O. Thank you again, Mr. Ralph, for hanging out with us. You can find us on
absolutely.
TikTok and now Twitter, which is now X. So you gotta figure that out, Instagram and all that. So find us on our website at KROSSBARZ.com. Give it up. We see you next time, y'all. Peace.
Peace. All right, brother.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.